Hello, hello, hello. We are back.
Hello.
We're going to do Real Housewives of Atlanta. This latest episode, Where's the Beef? But before we get into it, we had our Michael Jackson weekend. Michael was released on Friday.
Yeah.
And I believe it is the highest grossing biopic
Yeah.
um, ever. I don't
I
think
don't know ever, but I don't know. Could be
Yeah, it could be, but I don't think I'm surprised, huh? How did you like the movie? What do you rate it?
a 5.
Okay, a five. Okay, I'm not even surprised. Okay, let me say this. I am rating it a 10 just off of fandom. But no, real talk, off of fandom. But anybody who I will talk about it with, I kind of wrap it up to say there's not a lot of dialogue, right? It seems to be I kind of wrapped it up like I look at it like a love letter to fans. Because if you're a fan, a lot of the story
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So the lack of dialogue is okay to the fans, right? It would be anybody else that was looking for a little more dialogue.
And I
Um
think it's a movie, so it wasn't
mhm,
a concert because we could have
true.
just had a bunch of clips.
True. True.
Um,
Like a documentary to
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I
so
mean, was it what I can't even say what I expected, right? I didn't know what to expect.
I expected at least American Dream
Yeah, no, we'll
on
see. I
that level.
didn't expect that now. So yeah, yeah.
So I
And then,
didn't
and
expect
if
it to
you
be.
are kind of look like that, so to your point, I will say American Dream for me is still better.
Oh,
So
way better.
anybody who, if there is something deep that you want to, like be able to see, go watch that.
Yes, yes. I mean, I thought for what to me the script was very weak, very
Mhm,
surface.
mhm, mhm.
I thought, damn, could nobody give a personal story about him? None of his brothers. It it felt rushed through the childhood because to me the best
And
part of it,
that's strange considering how long they seem to have been working on.
girl, I just felt like they just threw some shit together,
Yeah.
and and I I felt like there wasn't really no funny moments in there.
No dialogue. That's what I mean.
It was
Like,
it was like
you have these
he
great
watching the Three Stooges with his
actors
mama.
like Nia Long, like I can't remember his name, shoot, that
His
played
name
Bill
is
Jackson.
Coleman Coleman
Domingo.
Domingo.
Yeah. So you have these great actors and there is nothing behind it. To your point,
Yeah.
Lorenz Tate is playing Barry Gordy,
Gordon.
and now I have two, and again, this is probably why I walked away from it, not necessarily disappointed, because I do have a thing about I'm not really sure how much of a story I want somebody else to tell of somebody else's life.
But then they shouldn't do
So
it.
I agree. I mean, in a sense, I agree, but that's what I mean. If it's not coming out of, let's say, a autobiography he wrote and never got a chance to publish it.
Yeah, but look, they had so many biographies of Michael Jackson, honey. I got
I'm
this.
talking. I'm
I
not
bought this in sixth grade.
Well, I'm not talking about like somebody else doing it. I'm
It
saying
was
him.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like to bring the story back again because we already seen American Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring it to the movie theaters,
Mm-hmm.
I just expected it to be, a little bit, because they could have got anybody to play those parts in.
That's correct. Well, thank God
And
they didn't, because when they got Flex to play
girl,
Michael Jackson,
I didn't even watch that. Girl, I seen that craziness. I said, what the hell is this? But no, I felt like, first of all, I was turned off by the makeup.
mm-hmm.
and I just couldn't get past. I'm like, God, are they trying to fuse Carmen Domingo into Lawrence Hilton Jacobs? That's what I thought. Because I'm like, what are they doing here? This ain't what I mean, because like in American Dream, they didn't try to put on makeup to make Lawrence Hilton Jacobs look like Mr. Jackson. They gave the hair curl. I mean, that's it. It wasn't like so, and I felt like that took away from him. Then every time Coleman Domingo, he always had his mouth open. Like, I said, what the fuck is this? I don't know. I just felt myself getting bored at the movies. And like in between the different musical scenes. Now, I thought that that Jafar did a very good job playing his uncle. I mean, because a couple times I was looking at it, almost like, but then I would see certain things.
It was these moments. I told my son that I said it's these moments where you can tell, and then there's moments where it's like, oh wow,
I can see Jermaine.
Well, and that, going back to that's the way I describe it. It seems like a love letter to the fans from his family, right? And listen, what I am gonna say is I do understand why Michael always said including Jermaine, because Jermaine is a sneaky beast,
Well, no, the reason why they did that because Jermaine he stayed with Motown.
Yeah,
I don't think it was any strife between any of
them.
No,
I don't either. I'll be the first to say I know the media always wanted to make it seem like they didn't get along. Listen, as many siblings as they have, I'm sure they had arguments amongst each other.
Yeah.
But what I know and saw is when they come down to it, they're gonna be there for each other. So and which is what at its core what a family should be. Like we might do and whatever to each other, but you
ain't gonna do it. That's
right. Yeah. But what I mean is because it's a little joke, but I'm saying the joke is because I think Jermaine, like I say, he a sneaky little devil. I'm like, you just set your son up for really gold in a sense because his first role he's playing Michael Jackson, and not to say maybe that's why the film lacked dialogue because that doesn't mean he knows how to act.
That's
what
I mean?
Yeah.
He's just portraying his uncle.
But he has definitely pushed him out in the forefront in a way in which if this is the lane that you are wanting to go in, and I would think that it is.
I think Jafar sings.
Huh?
He sings.
Well, I'm saying he's pushed you out in a way to where we about to find out what you really can do because
he can sing. He sounds like
these are coming.
A lot of that was his own voice.
Okay.
So he sounds like Michael Jackson, or but I think that as we were saying, getting back to like the lack of storytelling here, I really enjoyed Jafar. I was up and singing and dancing and all that. I love that part, but in between the times, it was just like,
yeah, very surface. I would agree with that. I could definitely agree with that. But I do think it was a nice. It was nice just for the fan. I enjoyed it just for the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
Outside of because it certainly did lack those things.
And I understand why they only got so many Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I really understand that because really,
yeah.
If it wasn't for
and even though we talk about well, it didn't include the allegations and things. I agree with the Breakfast.
Well, it only went up to 1988, so that was,
right, same as American Dream. Right, I know. I'm just saying what some of the talk has been about is that it stopped there, is that it didn't include, I think the hints that we got
don't need a part 2.
Right, is that it should be a part 2.
We don't need
that. I don't know what that looks like.
I don't need to see it.
And even as it includes the allegations, I'm not sure what that looks like. Because I don't even know what story do you tell when it comes to that, because I think the fans, I don't know what story you tell, because the fans agree that we don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, but hey, Michael's out. If you got to see it, drop down. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Did you think that they could have used more dialogue? Could they kept that on the cutting room floor? Or did you enjoy it?
They kept a lot of it on the cutting room floor. I mean, some
No,
of the things he was.
it lacked a lot of dialogue. Because I agree that there was some things I would have just enjoyed seeing some dialogue through.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah, that's
felt
what I
like
was
it
kind of
was
looking for.
American Dream, the Cliff Note version.
Yes. Yeah, it did seem like that.
Like they took the, you know what I mean, like just these special little parts, because American Dream kind of include it's the same story, but it's drawn out and it's giving you more
more
information.
backstory on everything. And I just thought they could have actually they rushed the childhood part, and I think that they could have brought in more, more meat with that, because that's where he gets famous. Really, he gets famous from being with the Jacksons. So could we know a little bit about schoolboy Michael Jackson? They in the American Dream, they act like the reason why he got in the group because he did the little talent show at school. We didn't get none of that. I just like, oh well, like I said, I didn't laugh. I think I laughed a little bit, even when Michael Jackson in American Dreams threw the shoe at his daddy. We could have got some, some funny, parts where some of the stuff that they could have, laugh about. Oh, this one Michael did when he was young, or did this or that. So I mean, but far as I tell everybody to go and watch it, but it's not gonna be one of those movies every time it come on I'm gonna stop and watch.
American, I can see that.
American Dream is one of those movies, kind of to me like Color Purple for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time it comes on, I'm watching it. So if I see it flipping through the channels, I'm gonna stop and watch.
It's important, at least to me, when they do stuff like that, like you really telling a story, that you try to give some different aspects of it. Either you recreate the way that was, or you kind of bring in, a new perspective or something. Because I think for me, that may have been what I expected as far as any dialogue is a Michael perspective, right? The story told it from him. But again, I can appreciate not giving a story that a person didn't have a chance to give themselves, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
And then I said, but God, it was like, there was like never, okay, the only moments they showed with him and his mom watching TV. Him and his dad, they're always like back and forth. I'm like, I just seen a goddamn video of Michael Jackson in the 80s, him and Janet giving their daddy a boat for a Joe Day. So I'm like, it couldn't have been always where I don't like him, or not, I ain't gonna say not like him, but scared of him, or it seems like there was never like a happy time.
Can I tell you what I think? I feel, and I've thought this since I was younger. I think that's what happens when they get a hold to your story. I think sometimes, like I remember being young, listening to even what their own interviews. Let's say Michael, LaToya, Janet, and the talk about their upbringing. And while I know that they would say things that, I guess, I don't even want to use the term sound harsh, but I guess sound harsh is the right word. But I always thought to myself, and I would say this in conversation, like, I don't understand, because you enjoying a life that all of that brought you, right? Like, I'm confused. Did it work or did it not? You know what I mean?
What his daddy said, well, I didn't know about him throwing up, but he regurgitated all the way to the bank.
Hey, I'm not saying that it's okay for anybody to feel abused or anything like that, But what I am, like I said, I had a hard time trying to reconcile like what you telling me from who you are and the life you live in and what you're saying this all stem from. Because that's confusing to me. You know what I mean? To want to love and enjoy what you got to, but and again, but I think that their perspective was just telling, right? And then somebody else gets it and then pushes a narrative on top of it. That if that makes sense, because that's what I mean. Like the narrative that they were all in discord when that wasn't the case. As Michael got to be the superstardom he been, even with Janet, it's understandable that you wouldn't see them all the time together because she's trying to create herself separate, from this person.
Yeah.
How do you do that? With you don't be seen with the motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like,
I swear, because if it wasn't for Joe, they'd be somewhere around Gary or Chicago right now.
Hey, listen. Listen, so hey, and so to your point, like you said, we have videos of seeing a different way, and that's what I mean. Like, say what you want about whatever happened, because I think everybody might have some stories about, well, shit, well, maybe you didn't have to get whooped that hard, you know what I mean?
And, and it's the era. I mean, okay, Joe Jackson is born the same year that my grandmother was.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandma handed out ass whippings like in one shit. That's what she did. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the way they were taught. Mm-hmm. And the way to keep their kids from straying, or, mm-hmm. They wanted to have their kids set apart because my mom and them couldn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. It was church and back. That was it. Mm-hmm. So that man, he must have seen a future for his children. I even seen an interview where somebody asked him, Joe Jackson, did he work a job? And he was like, what? I worked 2 jobs.
He worked at the steel mill.
Yeah.
Which is what everybody does.
A welder. Yeah.
As far as when you like the job that you can kind of be decent with is to go get. My dad works at the mill right now today. You know, that's the job everybody.
Yeah, that's a good job.
Work at the mill.
Yeah, good union job.
Yeah. But right, he quit it. Like so that he could. And again, I'm not saying that means it's okay to abuse your children. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is, listen, I look at things from an open perspective. And that's the open perspective that I had. It's like, well, I'm listening to the biggest pop star in the world tell me, about this horrible man, and yet here you are, So listen, I mean, I don't know, cut your losses, right?
Well, somebody could have beat my ass and made me the biggest pop star in the world.
Having a hard time, feeling sorry. But then I think about, like, there's this video with Elizabeth Taylor saying, well, we're going to give Michael his first Christmas. And that's what I mean by kind of like this getting a hold to your story and then kind of putting in this sympathetic thing. Because my thought about that is, technically, I understand him celebrating his first Christmas as an adult, right? Because he didn't do it as a child. However, it was religious, right? Like, I meet people who are Jehovah's Witnesses, and I kind of say like, oh, well, that sucks. But at the same time, I understand that's your religion. I don't think people generally miss what they never got.
Never had. And then they did things differently too, because just like I said, when they talked about, like, they didn't celebrate birthdays, but they had a Catherine Day. They had a Joe Day.
Which is a form of celebrating, you know. So fine if you did it some other way, and that's kind of what I would say too, is the people that I know that don't traditionally celebrate Christmas the way we do, they do something different, right? It's kind of, they still do something where they are in an exchange of gifting, if that is what we are talking about, in the sense of feeling like, oh, he didn't get to celebrate Christmas because he didn't get to open up gifts. Well, I've known people do it, like I say, it just doesn't look like you getting up on December 25th and opening gifts. You just doing it in a different way. So like I say, I think these things were made like just kind of what do you call it? Like just made bigger, like then I guess what they needed to be. I can understand now as far as Michael and his like just behavior in the sense of being childlike and
girl, I seen people say was autistic, honey.
well, I've said this before, and this was before I knew autistic. What that that was the word for it. But I think that anybody who is considered a genius or anybody who thinks so far outside the box of what everybody else is on, there is something that there has to be called. You know what I mean? That I don't know if autism is it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I think Al Sharpton said it at his funeral. Like, if you're extraordinary, that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? That is outside of being ordinary. So you're not gonna show up the way that everybody else shows up, right? Definitely. That is the very definition of it. But like I said, so I don't know if the word is autism, but
girl, they were saying because he didn't like sounds. I said what? And they said because he was very shy. I'm like, a person who's very shy ain't getting their ass up in front of millions of people. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like this, like, you put these characteristics together. Again, what I understand is for somebody to be able to achieve that level of success and to be able to do those things, he definitely possesses something that other people don't, like, and again, if that's called autism, then fine, like whatever, but it's definitely something, and and I love him, like nothing's gonna change my mind about him. Fine, I never thought of him as necessarily strange. I understood he did things I necessarily would not do, but I didn't necessarily.
But we're not in his shoes. I think
that's right, exactly. You know what?
That they can live a normal life.
Way to describe it, right? I never really put judgment on it because you're right. I'm not even in that position because if there was a way for me to not think about anything and on any day off I could just go outside and go to the amusement park, I probably would do that shit too. Like
it's right in my backyard.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, walking around this motherfucker.
Yeah, like if you had the ability to curate your life that way, what would be so wrong with it? So yeah, I agree. And I'm glad that I was able to be that open-minded at such a young age because I don't have any judgment, negative judgment about it. So with that said, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 4. Where's the beef and the budget? Okay. Where is the beef and the budget? So, first things first, y'all already know. Drop down in the comments and let us know what you are rating this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'll go first. I think I am rating this week's episode. I'm giving it about an 8.
Yes,
I like the game up just a tad, and so it's kind of got me a little. I think I'm getting excited about what else is coming up for the season.
I'm liking Pinky. I really am.
I am loving Pinky. Okay, like is an understatement. I am loving Pinky, and it's so weird. Well, I really haven't seen negative posts about her, but clearly there has been because
there's a lot of people act like they don't want her on the show.
Oh, you know what it is, y'all? I don't be on Twitter. I think that's why some stuff I miss. And then when I hear people talking about it, I'm like, what are you talking about? Right. But yeah, so apparently she's getting some negative feedback about her aesthetic and maybe about this bankruptcy deal, right?
Yes, I mean, they're saying, first of all, they didn't like that she came for Phaedra wig when she said that. And also, or I guess that's on the next episode, or was it this episode about she could wipe her ass for $89,000? I can't remember.
Episode.
Okay, and people were saying, I mean, but the whole thing, I feel like she could probably wipe her ass with $89,000. If it ain't her money, it's his money, and that's their money together. So definitely, I feel like I don't know. I guess she doesn't look the part that people, aesthetically look like the housewife that they want to see. I don't know, but she's giving a story. Because we get shit from Phaedra.
And for me, that's what I'm loving, is that she's just coming in and she's just being very transparent. Nobody is having to pull it out of her. Nobody is having to dig around outside of this. She ate meat, and what's funny is it wasn't even that she ate meat. However, Phaedra absolutely did say it.
You think so?
Meaning something. She said it to be shady, like to put.
Kelli said it.
Kelli did. Yeah. But I'm saying it was definitely mentioned about her having this Jamaican restaurant to put this air of her being a phony.
Yeah.
But listen, oddly enough, she seemed to be the realest one out of the bunch, because I'll give outside of Porsha, because I think Porsha is very, whether we think it's a put on or not, she seemed to be just very like, here y'all go, do what you will with it. But going back to Pinky, I like that she's not the traditional housewife. I like that. I like that she's being transparent about the situation. It's not that I want to see anybody going through hardships. But what I think is hardships happen. And even though we've been accustomed to Housewives being a aspirational show, at this point, 17 seasons in the game, I think we should understand, and we've seen enough people go to jail about the aspirational lifestyle, okay? Actually get charges, you know what I mean, about their, aspirational lifestyle.
Trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes, it actually is very comforting or relaxing, or I don't know if there's a word, but there's something genuine about seeing somebody be transparent about where they are, even in upholding their lifestyle and keeping their business afloat. And because that's a real thing, and we have enough things at this point for you to see all the pretty. I think the reality show is where you're supposed to show some of your ugly.
Yeah, I do agree.
I think that would be the exact purpose and why you would be on a reality show. If you wanted to keep showing all of the nice, pretty fluff of it, then you just keep collecting your money over there on Instagram and posting the reels, and hiring your people, your videographer to put your shit together. Yeah. And you just keep doing that, but I think this is what, and it's funny that the audience does that though, but this is what we've been asking for.
And then when you get it, they don't want it. I don't understand it, because Phaedra ain't giving shit but
not one damn thing.
Not nothing.
Besides lies and frustration, okay?
Yes. She's not giving anything. I think the new girls is working. And
so far.
And Drew was not in this episode.
No,
she tried to talk about Kelli.
No, she was not. Speaking of Drew, put a pin in the episode really quick. How about that? She's been ordered to leave the house. Toodaloo. Here's, I'm gonna say this. I'm not reveling in what Drew is going through. What I thought when I saw the headline about what the judge ordered, I just said, damn, because we watched her and Ralph on that first season. We were the ones that pointed out to her like that something was up with Ralph. I know we be throwing the N word around. I'm so tired. I'm trying to stop myself from calling people narcissists because I have to realize I am not a professional. Like I am not qualified to diagnose anybody's personality disorders, but what I can say is I can identify some similarities because I think I may like I understand being in a mentally abusive type of situation, like cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks strange, right? And that's what I mean. Like going back to her in his first season, like that whole first season, that's like right. We looking at her like girl, because it is something you can usually point out from outside, but people in it, you caught in this cycle, and it's hard to describe.
But do you
So
think it's like that because Drew lies so much?
I think I think it's a little bit of both, right? Because I think that outside of Drew lying, I think Drew embellishes, and so I think that probably started with covering up for her husband. And remember last week, I said it when we was talking about what they reported he brought in. I said I sure hope she not giving him. Sure hope some of whatever his income is doesn't include her income. And lo and behold, what is it that they said? She was giving him 50% of whatever it is.
Of
And
nothing.
what I mean is whatever it is.
Yeah.
But my point was I already kind of could know and tell that this guy, was in on her money that way. You know what I'm saying? In a way.
But I don't think she has, that much money compared to him.
It's not even that it doesn't matter the amount. It's the fact that he would be in it that way. That's a control issue. Like, but we've already seen, like, that's what I'm saying. We've seen him. So at the end of the day, I'm saying I have sympathy for her situation. I wish that they could move this along as quickly as they able to. Right?
So I guess my question would be, well, how long does Drew think she was supposed to stay at the house?
She probably assumed, because in some cases, or in a lot of cases, and I think that's what most people think is going to go, the man leaves and still pays the bills there. Generally, what's been happening, and especially where these are housewives, because you're the one that's going working, what's been happening is you the one leaving the house, and so now instead of the man leaving, because he's not the one that's paying all the bills, he figured I'm not leaving and paying, you know what I'm saying, to pay bills here and then have to, cover myself somewhere else too. So that's how people end up in the same house while that stuff is going on. Because if he got to pay the bills there anyway, then he might as well stay there too. But then if it gets contentious, which is I'm only guessing is why that has happened, where somebody has to leave the residence. If he paying the bills and he watching the kid, you get what I'm saying? If they saying that he's the primary caregiver of the kids, then he's gonna be the one to stay in the house.
Yeah.
You don't want I'm just turning it and this is not me saying that that's okay, but what I am saying is if it was the other way around and it was the man who had to travel to work, whatever, however way his working schedule worked out, and his wife was like how we are used to seeing it, then the wife gets to stay at the house with the kids, because the point would be to not uproot the kids.
Yeah, but I don't think the wife can afford the house.
That's why I said that they usually order the husband while this is still going on. Mm-hmm. The whoever was paying the bills in the first place continues to pay the bills. That's what I mean. Like, but as far as now, when we talk, you got to get into who actually is going to stay there. Then it's going to be the one who stay there with the kids. say the house was ordered to be
Yes.
sold once the divorce is final, which is usually what would happen. We
Yeah,
talking about what happens while this is
this
happening,
is going on.
going on. But yeah, because right, that because and again, that would be the fairest thing because most times nobody wants to like Simon and Porsha. Simon don't want Porsha still living in that house, but he didn't have no, they ordered it the way they did, and now he ain't got no choice. Now she got to pay him so that he will be whole, and now you ain't got to look at it like it's your house, right? Like let me pay your stake out of it, Anyhow, I feel bad for Drew because I do believe that she was in an abusive relationship emotionally and mentally. And I know that there is some report. I'm not going to speak on it because I think I just saw it on Carlos Monday Night Live. And I would have to agree with them. I do think that Drew pulls out these tactics, and I don't agree with those. And it's very hard to make judgment on stuff when you kind of do that. You know what I mean? So I don't want to use that in anything that I have to say about the situation that's going on between them. Point blank, period. I think she's the one that probably is less responsible with the ability to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel bad for that because maybe she is the one doing most of the work because Ralph probably not doing nothing because that's how those controlling ass be, right? Like they'll, have a nice facade, but in actuality, you're not doing a damn thing.
She couldn't get him to school though.
Well, yeah. And that's the reason why she is out the house. I mean, that's no, I'm saying that like I'm just saying that's the reason why the kids are there with Ralph. But I do believe that it's more to it. Like it's not as cut and dry as Drew is just this irresponsible mother. Like I don't believe that for one moment. I just think she's not.
They posted that Ralph was trying to get alimony. How? Right. When he would reportedly make so much money, more money than her.
Just said that Ralph can afford to live on his own. I think he'd be claiming otherwise. Okay. Ralph set her up. Well, and that's what we're getting down to. See, like, because, right, you asking, like, why, and I don't have the answers, but what I am going to say is, Ralph, that's what I'm saying. We saw that on her first season. We saw that dynamic of him.
Yeah, because he purchased the house without her.
Is and calculating. I don't want to say smarter, but what I'm saying is he probably is like 3 steps ahead. I don't want to use the word smarter because when it comes to like being in a relationship like that, like Drew can't think straight. That like she can't use all of her brain if she wanted to. She tried, but Ralph is so wrapped up in it.
But Ralph, his financials that he produced, it showed that he made more money than her, a lot more.
And what if him making the 71? What if $40,000 of that was from the agreement she agreed? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You get what
No, but
see what I'm saying.
But remember, okay, if you go back to I was watching that lawyer speak on the terms of their divorce, and she went ahead and started another LLC and stopped
keep
that
money separate from her. Yeah, so she could, right? That's the only way she could put some of her money up from him. She is fleeing that man. And I hate to laugh like that, but that's the God honest truth. And that's what I mean. Like it's so like because when you use the term abuse, like most people think that looks like a black eye. It looks like something you can see, but when somebody is mentally, emotionally abusing you, it shows up in erratic ass decisions and behavior. When you looking at somebody like, and they got all their good sense and they not going, that person is being abused. You say right, which is why the judge is saying they can afford to live separately. Yeah. Yeah, it's volatile is what that is. And the thing is, sometimes it's one of the I tell my son this because I would tell anybody. Sometimes when you like trying to hold on, or like the one thing you wouldn't want to do might be the thing you have to do, like just so you can free yourself up. So you can, because you're not going, the only way you get out of the abuse is to get out of it and then be able to clear your mind, so that when you, so that the way we can see it right now, you can come back and see it. Because while you in it, while you in it, you are trapped in it. You know what I mean? Like you trapped.
I think I would have never agreed to, if we're going through a divorce, we both stand in the same house and we're kind of, we both dating. He living in the basement. I'm up. No, I'm gonna move into whatever I can afford, and we about to be done with this. Let him go ahead and keep the house, because it looks like
he even took half her damn money. She couldn't afford it. And let's go to here with Drew. And then she still is trying to keep an image up for this housewives job, you know. So I think like what the saying goes, we judge decisions without knowing the choices, right? You know, the only way a person is able to gain control is if they use what they know. You know what I'm saying? Like that, right? There is like, I agree where you said I don't think I would do that, but to see somebody actually being it, because he tricked her into that. He made it sound different than, you know what I'm saying, like than what it ended up being. And like I said, Aaron, you done tricked out of half of her damn money. So also, that's half of her freedom. That's, you know, like you done tied her up, which is what, funny enough, that is exactly what I would think a narcissist would do to keep you in that cycle, is to figure out a way to keep you on the hook. Yeah, you know what I mean? And financially is a stronghold. And so going back to what I mean, the very thing you would not want to do might be the thing you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, so while as moms, nobody wants to hand their child over to anybody, even if it is their other parent. You know what I'm saying? However, this might be what you got. Like, get that, do it. Go and sit with it. Get out that house. You know, so you can get a clear mind. Get away from him. Go no contact, so you ain't gotta talk to them in. But there we go with the kids again. See, because if she had the kids, she could cut his ass off, right, and not talk to him, and set it up between her assistant and whatever. But that's why he wants them kids, because that keeps something attached.
Well, I think what she went sending them to school now. Come on.
Well, listen, I'm not saying that, because I think I explained that people don't make the clearest decisions. I don't have a reason for that. But that's what I'm saying, is that because she was, whatever spiral she's in this situation, she's fucking up and giving him an upper hand to be able to keep this thread with her. So I'm hoping that with this, that she gets out of there and be able to breathe some clear air, so that she can wake the hell up and stop making silly decisions, so that she can get out of this. You know, so she can get out of this. I think I think Ralph is giving her hell. Yeah. And I like I say, from the, and I'm gonna go, the first season said it all. That's why nobody was surprised when they filed for divorce. Nobody was surprised about that, right? We saw it. We saw that coming. The writing was all over the wall. Anyhow, okay, so let's take the pen out of that, because Drew was not on this episode. But we managed to go on and give us a little Drew update. So what else do we have? Angela with her business venture of fans, her Fangela.
Angela. So she got a couple different businesses. She also does taxes, like me. But I thought it was cute that, with the fan, hopefully that works out.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were discussing the amounts that need that she has to come up with, she said, I'm going to ask my husband. She said, contrary to what you think, she know how to get the money out of her husband now. Now, she ain't with that
You
old ass
better
man for
go
no
make it
reason.
do what it do, honey.
That's right. So
I
yeah, she
thought it
said
was
she done.
cute. I just going back to the business thing and the aspirational thing. I just don't want to see Angela fall into this cycle like what Shamea seems to be in, which is like flailing to start something because you're on this show.
Well, I think she's already. I think her tax business does well.
Hmm. I'm talking about the fans.
Yeah, well, I think it's because they made such a, we laughed at it. So I guess she trying to do like Candy, turn the shade into a money tree.
Candy is I don't know what to, and I've said this about Candy for a long time. Even though I listen, her business sense is like the thought to capitalize off of the things that somebody else is making money off of anyway. Because again, like with the dungeon and everything, you're not going to get any residual income off of what they have, So I'm okay. But this whole divorce tour thing, that's cringe for me. I don't like it. Um,
Girl,
I look at her with this tinge of desperation that I never really seen, or yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it on her. Because I've said, because like with the parodies and things, I know I made comments like, well, damn, ain't you too busy to do a whole parody? Like in some way, it's kind of like leave some stuff for what the other people do. Like you don't have to do everything.
well, I
At
guess she
the
said
same-
she's a woman scorned. And honey, from what's his name? Um, the other guy, damn it, what is his name? Bingeworthy says, honey, she is dropping the tea at the dang on the one woman show. And they said it
Well,
was
I
a
kind of
great
got to
show.
figure what is the tea in a sense of you opened your marriage up to threesomes. He
That
broke.
doesn't give you the right to cheat.
I'm not saying that it does. Right? He broke whatever rule it
They
was,
had, yeah.
and but this is what I'm gonna say because I'm not saying that that's okay. But I think people get confused. Like once you open your marriage up in that way, do you really get to put the lid back on that? Like I
If
don't
we got an agreement, yeah, if this is what we walked into and we already said this is the agreement, and evidently there was whatever their agreement was, he breached whatever contract they had together. So, and for her to, you know, just to this one thing happen or whatever's supposed to happen in July, and for her they get separated and she files for divorce. It must, from what it was told, that it was somebody that she actually, it was like Tiny and T.I., somebody she actually hired.
I could see
Right.
that. I
So,
mean,
one of
I could
the
see
help.
that. But this is so that's why I mean like this whole thing just got an air of stank on it for me when it comes to Candy because well I'm not going to the show. I wouldn't buy a ticket because that's just not even that's not even the brand of things I want to sit under and listen to. However, maybe somebody will give us a synopsis of what she does say. I'm sure we will hear from somebody whatever she discloses
And I
during
think they had one just with the other day.
yeah.
But I
But
think they
but
collect
I
the
guess
phones
my
at the door.
would just kind of be if she's not coming in from an accountability side for her, like I'm not saying that because you had a threesome that means he can sleep with whoever. I am not saying that, but I am saying is there any accountability for knowing that when you open your marriage up that way, you kind of open up these other little things like like if you want to keep your marriage sacred, then you keep it sacred. I don't know if there's a way to keep it sacred while we open up and allow other people in from time to time. I think that type of temptation is hard to put a lid back on. I'm gonna use this example for people that practice celibacy. There's a debate about if you masturbate during celibacy, and for me, it would be like absolutely not. Why? Because if you're masturbating during celibacy, then you're still participating in opening up these thoughts about having sex. But if you're trying to be celibate, that would be counterproductive.
I
Just
think maybe
like,
people are just trying to be. They don't want the body count. So there
well,
is a.
well, guess what? That's abstaining. That's not being celibate, right? That like, I mean, it is. That's the difference. That would be I'm abstaining right now because whatever. Right? I ain't sleeping with everybody. So in that case, you masturbate away. You know, do your thing. But if you saying you're celibate, then that is a whole body thing and a whole intentional thing. So that's just where I am with it. Again, it's like I would think that anybody who is practicing in threesome type of activity with their significant other is probably a hop, skip, and a jump away from some scandal of this person not just cheating on you, but also cheating on you with somebody very close to you. Because what has happened is all the lines are blurred for him and for everybody else around you because they figure, well, you should be cool with it, right? You cool anyway, and that's that.
I don't
But
take that.
I mean, I'm sure you don't. Nobody does. But yeah, but that's what it is. So you opened your marriage up, and now you slept with one of your damn workers. But okay, and rightfully so, you politely divorced him. But now you can't. Like, I guess it's this. Don't come crying now to me, kind of high fiving Mama Joyce, like, yeah, you was right. Well, no, she wasn't. You never would have known that she'd been right. Kept your bedroom doors closed to just y'all and your toys. You mean
he probably still was gonna cheat.
Sex line, and you still, and this
But
is
he still no. I think but just because he still was going to cheat regardless if she opened up that bedroom door.
If that's what he wanted to do, he sure was.
No, because he did it anyways.
Well, but you opened the door.
I think that was already that's something he was going to do.
If it's going to be a sacred bond, then it's going to be sacred. And then when you step over it, there's not any questionable, of what line you crossed. You know exactly what line you crossed.
Oh, he knew exactly what line he crossed.
But I agree, and I'm not even gonna lie. I agree with Todd when she posted that post with Mama Joyce talking something about some lemons, or I don't know what she was saying, but he put up under there like dang, can't you still like using him for money? Right. I agree with him. Don't use him to make the money. Go now. The story is yours. It's your life. You can tell it. But I don't think that's cool.
She was saying ain't no mountain high enough.
That's what it was. That's what I'm like. I couldn't remember what was going on that video because I ain't like it. That's what I will say. I ain't like it. Anyway, Candy ain't on this season or episode, so let's jump back in to the episode. We see K Michelle talking with her team about going to Dallas. She said her and Porsha made up, but she gonna keep her eye out for her and Phaedra because they shade is real slick. What do we think about K Michelle? What she's done and shown us so far, and what do we think about that scene?
Well, she's saying that I think she's really dragging out this thing with Porsha.
Oh my God.
I think that
This is not love and hip hop. She's gonna learn that
Yeah, and
very
I
soon.
to me, she's trying to betray herself and she's above it all. Like,
You was right underneath the surface of the ground, you like where the worms
so
go when it's not raining. Like that's what she is.
so then I mean to keep dragging that out because I don't really think Porsha meant any kind of malice with saying what she did. But anyways, she
Let me
already
tell you
talked.
something. And you know what's so funny when they keep going back to the clip, right? And she say miscarriage, and then here go K Michelle like, well, who asked a woman that? You know what I thought to myself? Like the more and more they show that clip, the more ridiculous it starts to be and sound. I agree with you because I thought, well, who else are you saying that to, right? Who else are you asking if they had a miscarriage? Like, shut the fuck up, K Michelle.
Yeah, because we ain't asking nobody is they ass leaking.
Right, because that's the furthest from anybody's mind.
So
And to your point, even where this is concerned, listen, I am sympathetic to us as women. I know we make choices that we sometimes regret and have to live with, but this is and call it what you will. If you think I'm being mean or cold, then whatever, I'll take it. I'm not that sympathetic to her walking around leaking all over the city because of this stuff she did to her body. I want her to deal with it and shut the fuck up about it. Like I kind of agree with Porsha in a sense to be like, it's been a long time. Sounds like it's gonna be something you always gonna deal with. So I don't know why every time it comes up, there has to be this dramaticness about it, right? I'm going to say, I guess it's not life threatening. I don't know if it is or not,
he asked the man, was she dying?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm guessing anytime you have open lesions or, like there's risk of infection, could cause, can get bad and cause death. But, I don't want to hear this every time the camera is on K Michelle. I don't want to hear about it. You leaking, we got it. You got bad silicone, we got it. I don't know because I can't like. It goes back to what I say about like people using stuff to evoke your emotion. Like it just feels like that all the time, and I don't like that. I don't like it.
So I also thought when she said that she had never been on the girls' trip,
Mm-hmm.
or basically, I mean, you come on the show, you know, kind of how it goes. We're gonna do these trips. We're gonna, she said being around a bunch of catty women. And I'm like, when they real catty on, I never watched Love and Marriage. I'm loving hip hop, but when they catty on that show,
yeah.
But I just feel like she's taking on this. I'm, not better than them, but I'm so above this. So I'm just kind of wondering, what's she really gonna give?
Married that man though, to be honest, because even it's like that's like it's funny that people tell on themselves like all you got to do is get them to keep talking. So it's like she's telling this story about her and her husband got married, and I think she thinks there's something cute about it, but I'm finding it desperate. Like I see the little desperation thread, and I wonder if that showed up because this opportunity came up and well we all know who wants like you would want to be a wife, you know what I mean, like that. To your point about having this heir, that would be added to why you would have an heir, right? Because you're actually a wife, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it's 42 hours before you signed your contract, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But whatever.
Then she says, because her husband is not on social media, and she does think all men cheat, and so good that he ain't on social media, so she ain't got to be dealing with nobody that way.
Well,
Or
that's
something
what
to that
you're
effect.
saying. Like that's what you had to get married for it to kind of be a plus, in this space in this arena. Because if you think all men cheat, who gets married thinking that?
Girl, she was messing around with R. Kelly while he was married. So I'm
So she ain't got no morals, huh? Okay.
no, that's what.
All right. Okay then. So, but I think that K Michelle is gonna get herself in trouble because back to that whole like we saying she's drawing that out. I think that's the way she's used to the girls on Love and Hip Hop moving. And what I mean is like they seem to have these beefs that be like high school, type of beefs like, oh, you slept with my boy or you dated my boyfriend from 10 years ago. Like it's been a whole fucking decade. You know what I mean? Like you thought I was supposed to call you and say, like, hey, I'm dating this guy. You dated a whole decade, girl. You got a whole new set of skin on your body. Like you're not even the same person.
Like,
but so I think that she is moving because that is the brand of reality TV that she's from. I think she has an expectation of what she's used to seeing, like the Nene shade. But that's not where we are in this season. So I don't think it's still we gotta still wait and see. But for me, K Michelle is looking a little fish out of waterish. It's kind of not horrible. It's not like it's not Shamea, right? It's not Shamea. For like yeah, because Shamea for me was horrible, but yeah, she gonna learn. I think she's got a lot to learn that she gonna figure out, and we'll see if that's gonna keep her coming back, honey. So what else happened?
We had the giveaway too,
Mm-hmm.
and first we had Pinky Cole and Kelly meeting up at Slutty Vegan. I like the whole aesthetic of that of Slutty Vegan. Now my brother had it. I think she had one in New York or whatever. And he said that wasn't his cup of tea. He said I went and got it. Everybody was talking about it, but it was not nothing he'd go back and get.
I might be taking it back if I walk in and you be like, get some sluts in the building. I'll be like, is it?
Well, it's called Slutty Vegan. So
I got you though. It took me even when what's that girl Amber Rose did the whole slut walk thing. It took me a while to. I'm not calling myself a slut. I don't know. Maybe if I'm being playful enough, I might. I get it, right? I get it. Is all I'm saying. But I also get the harshness in it too, and so I'm just kind of like, I don't like it. Just one as a term in general. You know what I mean? Like we'll say that I don't like it as a term in general. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't even, and it's funny that I say maybe I'll use it like being playful, but I don't remember the last time I even used the word slut. Like, like this slut.
Yeah, I haven't used that. I think last time I used that word in high school, maybe slut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think people use that vernacular that much.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. It's not part of my vocabulary in a sense. So that's why it's like, right, that's what I mean. Like if I walk in somewhere and they like, because I get it. It's called that, but I don't know if I'm prepared. I don't know if I'm prepared for me to be the slut, right? I'm a little taken aback, like, oh, wait a minute, you gotta let somebody know. Like, okay.
Well, Porsha was like, what?
Yeah, I had the same reaction too. Like, shit, is there some sluts in the building? Because I know I walked in, but I didn't know.
Phaedra, they talking to you.
So we saw and that's what Kelly said that she's thinking about doing the bankruptcy also. I mean, listen, I'm here for the transparent stories. That's just all I'm gonna say. And I don't necessarily. Oh, thank you, best viewers. What's that,
girl?
Okay,
I don't know. Okay.
Back to what I was saying. I'm liking the transparency about the businesses in general, and these are not like it's not like charade. what I mean is, I know how she get in this, right?
No. Porsha brought her in it.
Don't say Porsha did Porsha did mention her, so right, she is here by popular demand, okay? But and I'm sorry that I even, would compare her that way. But what I am saying is, it's not like that business venture that kind of never was for so long and then kind of flop when it is. Like, I don't see these two ladies as that. You know what I mean? Like, I see these ladies as real business women, entrepreneurs, Black women, and these are the struggles that they're going through. And I do think more people need to be transparent about what they can be transparent about, because I think it will help somebody else. You know what I mean?
And they both were the guarantors on the on both of their businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, and and like I said, and listen, honey, somebody tell me I owe $2 million. Take me now, shit, because where's that gonna come from? Right? Like,
take me now. Oh, Jesus, no.
Because where am
bankruptcy from? Let's go ahead and file it. Let's get that paperwork.
And when we talk about aspirational, though, because right, I can't even imagine being on the hook for $2 million for anything, a business, a home, a car,
20 million.
And right, I keep saying 2 million. Like, you say 20 million, honey, get it right. At all. And so the point being is the success that you even rolling around in that type of debt, right? Like this.
The girl said she could wipe her ass with $89,000.
I'm sure you can, because that's what I mean. The fact that you could even roll around in that type of debt, that's still like that's aspirational to me, I guess. I'm tired of Nipsco being on my ass for this $300.
Shit. Oh, that debt, girl, yeah.
They got real problems, okay? So so yeah, I am liking that, and I think that Pinky being transparent is probably helping Kelli be transparent, because I don't think that she would if Pinky wasn't there.
No,
I don't think we would have got that from her. I think it would have been announced, and it might have been announced, but yeah, I think it would have been just announced out. What else did we see on this episode? Porsha invited her friend Mike back over to the house. Honey, Porsha is just now. I guess we can't call it that man house no more.
Girl, she had him and baby daddy in the episode.
Okay. Huh?
She had him and the baby daddy in the episode.
That's what I said. It's open season over at the house, okay? I know, and I'm so surprised Simon ain't had nothing to say, because I know he is shitting bricks when they see it.
Girl, ain't he over in Dubai?
Yes, he can't come back over here.
Yeah, he probably over there scamming. So shit.
Well, he busy doing something because he's not posting.
So who knows?
Did you happen to see Penn in the episode? Did you see Carlos King and Porsha's interview?
I started watching a little bit. I didn't.
Okay,
finish.
You didn't finish. Okay, it was a good interview. I enjoyed it. All right, Penn.
I got as far as her talking about her corns. I said, "Oh, let me come back," because my grandbaby started doing something. I said, and I didn't want to watch it on my laptop. I wanted to watch it on the big screen. So I said, I'll watch it a little later.
Okay. Okay, so let's get back into the episode. So yeah, we saw her with the guy. Look like the part of the reason they not gonna make it, outside of she probably already made her mind up about Sway, but he seemed like he wanted to have kids. It looked like I remember feeling like he looked familiar, but I don't remember him on Ready to Love. Like, I don't remember his whatever the season was, what he showed up like. So I don't really have nothing to go off of, except for I think that was cool too. I'm like, it's a lot of stuff I think we do need to normalize showing, and sometimes showing that, like meeting somebody, going out, vibing, and then having adult conversation and decision about where we are and if this really mesh, as opposed to everybody always thinking like that you can, change these very permanent things sometimes. You know what I mean? Like going back to K Michelle, like back to this miscarriage thing, as offended as you are about this miscarriage statement, like I really don't want to hear about your like pregnancy goals. I mean, I think you got a baby toe in the grave. Like,
well, maybe she'll get a surrogate. That's the only thing I can think.
That's the conversation she needs to be having.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to house my baby in a
way more. Speaking of your ass is leaking, how you about to push a baby out anyway? You girl, let's just stop. Like,
yeah, she need to have a surrogate.
That's why I wouldn't even be able to take her serious if she was sitting up talking to me, because I would ask her those questions. Maybe, and listen, I might be neurodivergent too, because and I'm saying that to say, because I am a person that just kind of asks things. Because I need understanding. You can't talk to me and tell me things that like just don't make sense. And then now, if I know I'm talking to somebody who is not that logical anyway, then I might let that roll, which probably mean I ain't listening that very much to you, right? Because I'm not trying to make sense out of what you're talking about. I'm just like keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keeping it 1,000. But yeah, I'm not interested in that from K Michelle, and I am very supportive of us as women. I want us to have all the things we want, but I am very realistic. And yeah, I like I said, a baby toe at least. How old is K Michelle? Is K Michelle my age?
I think she's about 45. She's somewhere in there. I know she ain't in her 30s. She look like she's 50.
Yes, she do. That's why I'm asking.
She gotta be. I mean, because
that's literally why I'm asking. That's why I said like she got a baby toe in the grave or something. Because listen,
because she carry herself like an older lady to me.
All that makeup and stuff, damn weird. Yeah. But that going back to like nobody even realizes how much some of those things age you sometimes. Like, ugh. So yeah, she's looking older. Anyway, good luck to her, right?
So yeah, because the Dallas trip, Cynthia had invited the women for this Dallas or not Dallas, what Dynasty theme?
Yes.
Trip for her. What is it? Tequila?
Which is Dynasty in Dallas, because why didn't she just have a Dallas theme?
Because Dynasty is probably in Texas. I don't know if it was in Dallas, though.
That's what I thought. Well, Dallas is Texas, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think where they were Dallas, because there was a literal show called Dallas. So I feel
but the people on Dynasty were more, the Ewings were ranchers.
But where were they at? Oh, were they in Dallas?
They were in Dallas.
Okay.
So, but they were, ranchers and stuff. They weren't really just high sedity like Dynasty was. They wouldn't get no fashion over there on Dallas.
Well, you're right. Listen, because I know I watched those things, but I was young, so I don't remember. Like I remember Alexis, honey, and I do remember. Yeah, but I don't necessarily, remember it in great detail. Mm-hmm. Okay, so fine. So go finish.
Yeah, so that's the trip that the women are going to take. So why the women all came to Slutty Vegan for the give back, and everybody, the things that they had to purchase had to be vegan. So Phaedra got hit with getting the formula. I think it was a formula and wipes or something.
Yeah.
And Shamea had to get the doggone Pampers, so she probably had to get vegan Pampers too. So, and how many Pampers were they buying? 'Cause I guess like, what was the budget here?
Yeah.
Cynthia only had to get 2 brushes. So Cynthia probably went to the Dollar Tree $100. And while these other women are spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So what was the budget, Pinky?
Whatever they had in their pocket. Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like she just like gave them an assignment.
Damn. We would have had like, okay, this is the amount. I'm not spending more than this. And for Phaedra to have to fill, I mean, like, so how many infant bags we filling?
No,
you know, so shit. Oh my God, dog. You know, and for it to be vegan, you know, the formula is expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive if it's not vegan and you're not getting the regular formula like that everybody else is getting. So yeah, like I can only imagine what vegan formula would cost.
Yeah.
And what that even is. To
I don't even know.
Right.
I don't even know what brand. Does Similac have vegan?
I'm like, what is that? I'm like,
I'll be in there trying to buy the Kroger brand.
Let's see if you can get something about it.
Yeah, who got Wick?
Do Wick cover vegan? Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Your baby better be allergic to everything else. Yeah, it has to be doctor ordered, probably. But yeah.
So, Pinky did tell her husband about. At least she said she was considering filing. Now listen, I kind of did. I didn't know who her husband was, and of course, over these last few weeks, everybody had mentioned him. I guess I found out, right?
He's coming up on my Instagram feed now.
Yeah, look, I guess I found out because I was like, yeah, she ain't telling him because he ain't got no skin in the game, which is true, but I think I was saying it in the same spirit in which Phaedra was mentioning her having this Jamaican restaurant, was to say
that he had no money.
Yeah, you know.
But he do.
So I gotta take it on back.
Take it back, Dr. Heavenly. Take it back.
I gotta take it back.
Well, you know, she said when they first did the scene with him, she talked about it.
Ain't no women take up for their men, so I just called it the way I thought. Like, because again, like going back to like, yeah, women take up for their men. So I don't necessarily always, and I was just wrong. You know, because again, I did, and here's the thing: I'm only half wrong because I'm wrong about why I would assume that. Because again, that is why she's not telling him about it, because she does, like, it's not his. Debt. He's not in any debt, right, with her. So yeah, he don't have no skin in the game. It ain't nothing he got on the bar that he about to lose. And she's not trying to invite him in. You know, to put nothing on the table. So I'm 50% right. Because I'm like old boy on Hustle and Flow. Like when I'm look, even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
I did like the fact, and I understand her too, because as a business person, a lot of times, like when things go up and down, I don't just clue my husband in on a lot of things either. So I understood that part of her. And I really like how he said, I got you.
Yeah, I like
that. A lot of times I could be going through stuff. I don't tell my husband about it till last minute. He'd be like, why don't you ever say anything? Yeah. You know, because I don't be thinking about it, really. Until it's about like, okay, I got an attitude, shit hitting the fan. Then you're like, well, you ain't said nothing, so I don't know. I come here and see the same motherfucking kids, so it look like the same shit going on, you know. So I understand that with her in that situation, but I definitely, before I would have walked around telling everybody else, I would have told my husband first.
Now, yeah, that was funny when he said, "Well, who else knew about this?" And
Everybody.
hey, Michelle, but that's what I was like, and us, you know what I'm saying? Like all of us.
Exactly.
But I thought it was funny. Them producers shady to the motherfucker. Cause why y'all? Cause right, K Michelle out of all people, it wasn't like her mom or her sister. You know, it's like fucking K Michelle know before I know. You know. But yeah, but listen, I agree with you. I liked his response. They seem to have a very sweet like type of relationship. And so I'm here for Pinky. Pinky, you're doing good this season,
She
girl.
sure
And
is.
and it's effortlessly. Like I think she is truly, she might be one of the most authentic people I've ever seen come up on here.
Mm.
And it worked. You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't feel like she's trying to do anything.
But I thought it was so cute they had Maury on there.
That was cute.
Because I knew she was
That
a
was
producer.
cute.
I knew
I
she had
heard
said
that too.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm
That
like,
that was cute. A lot of people testers said that is a lie. You are still a vegan. Okay.
I thought that was so cute. I said, oh, look at Maury, looking old. But
Hmm.
I enjoyed that. But I like the whole aesthetic of it. I really enjoyed the episode. I really
Yeah,
did.
I did too.
I said,
I
okay,
did
this
too.
is
That's why I
cute.
said I'm giving them about an 8 this episode. They
Yeah.
did good, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to some more.
Yeah.
To seeing what's coming up. I now Porsha did say on Carlos King's interview, because he did ask a little bit about Shamea.
I seen the clip.
Okay. Um. So I kind of
I can't I
Shamea
can't wait to
the
see it.
whole huh.
I want to see the scene. I
I
can't wait
want to
to
see the
see it.
scene too, but I believe Porsha already, because in my mind, the way I look at Shamea, she already sold her friend up the river. And so I do already see that you're going to exploit that, whatever grievance, like I said, whatever grievance your audience agrees with you about when it comes to that relationship, I can see her exploiting it. And it does feel like it's going to be out of the left field, because so far, where would it come from that all of a sudden Shamea has this, like kind of, I don't know, thing to say? But like you said, we're gonna see what it is, because Porsha could be,
putting 10 on 20, or how they said 20
yeah,
on 10.
yeah, she could be, but I'm saying that I am believing her already, because I feel like Shamea has already shown up a little faulty for me.
Well, yeah, because I'm not believing Shamea. Well, she thought that Phaedra said it. I said, but Phaedra ain't said it. Kelli said it to you. She saw it. Didn't she say she ate steak?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then Kelli, that was also in her confessional too. So
Mm-hmm.
only thing I don't like about this housewife shit, if I tell you that, like how she said I'm on PETA, the board of PETA and all this stuff, if I'm telling you that this shit may ruin my brand, then we need not to bring the shit up no more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to ruin somebody financially. I'm coming on the show. We can have our cattiness or whatever, but don't try to like fuck me over where you
Right.
mess up my money. I don't think nobody should do
And
that.
I agree, because I think like like the taking the lightheartedness out of it to poke fun. I think it would kind of be okay in other settings to poke fun at a vegan, or maybe a bit like Porsha. I think, because Porsha kind of was the back and forth. So somebody like her, cool, poke fun about, because we know she ate meat. But when it comes to I think Pinky Cole, first of all, when they say it's not something that I question, like, oh, was she eating meat? Like, I think a person tell you they're vegan, I tend to believe them. Like, I don't have why tell me you're a vegan if you're not? And because you can just tell me you're a vegetarian for that. To tell me that you're a vegan is a step above. You know what I mean? Like, and you know what I'm saying? So
Plant based, yeah.
I would if you tell me you're vegan, I believe you, and I don't have any reason. And here's the thing: and if there was a point in time in which you ate meat, that would be understandable to me.
I said the only thing maybe because she don't give off the aesthetic of what we naturally think a vegan person looks like, because I assume thin. When
Oh,
you
okay,
see,
because I was gonna ask, is it because she's thicker? Well,
yeah,
I've
she
seen a
must
lot
be
of
eating a lot
things
of bread.
vegans, honestly, but I think that's so we're not talking. I don't know if this means that for the people that's thin, but we're not talking about somebody who's been a vegan their entire life, in a sense. Now again, I've known a person who, let me think, because she might go back and forth. I feel like she's done her plant based for a long period of time. Now, Pinky Cole might be the only person I've heard of that's been consistently that. Because that, like, again, that's a whole lifestyle, right? That, like,
Yeah.
it's like, because like what you say, you can't use no plant, no animal, anything. Like, so
No
that's your
butter.
shampoo, your soap, whatever, like anything. And which is like that's why I say, if somebody tell me they're vegan, I'm gonna tend to believe them about that. Because what would be the point? But yeah, I think it's kind of like you say, this where something could be silly or you could think it's silly, it very much could be harmful in the wrong type of way. And I think this is that, yeah, I agree that she has built her business off of her being vegan. And I ain't sure if, saying if joking around that you saw her eating meat or something, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see how that all plays out, honey. Because I got to see how Pinky Cole ended up getting into it with Angela.
I know. I'm like, where this come from?
Yeah, we have to see, honey. So. All right, well, that's it. That's all we got, honey. Got anything else for the episode? Shoot, I think that was it. Did
I
we
think
cover
that's pretty much it. Shoot. I didn't write down notes, but that's all I
I
can
didn't
remember.
either.
So, Phaedra and Aiden again.
Oh, right. Yeah, he was gonna take a nap.
Mm. Why is she here?
No reason at all.
None at all. I
No.
mean, nothing. But also when the women were the conversation between Shamea and Phaedra. And Phaedra took it as a dig that when Shamea had mentioned, when they asked who would she rather have her children or whatever, and she said Cynthia because of given how Cynthia raised her daughter. And Phaedra took it as a dig about her children.
That was a reach.
It was really a reach. No, she don't want you to keep her kids because you the one said that she was fucking candy.
Right. Right. Well, and to a point, you said it on the episode, she don't like you. So yeah, that like you understand why she didn't pick you. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yeah. And Pinky said, no, we're not gonna do that here. We can do it on that on the trip next week. Cynthia's like, they're gonna settle this here.
Okay, like don't you be bringing that madness to my event.
I know that's right. So yeah, I can't wait to see the girls' trip and see how that pans out. And why is Pinky and Angela into it?
Right, yeah. We gotta see, honey.
Yeah.
Gotta check that out.
Oh, also, I enjoyed when they went to the cycling class, and when Charles opened the door and he said to Phaedra, "Do I know you?" I said, "Oh, look, he just petty, and Katie is the rest of these motherfuckers."
I'd have did that to her too. I'd have said the same thing. Like, let me introduce me. Look, formally, okay?
Yes, I loved it.
That's how it is. Like, you done seen me, honey. Don't you mistake that for you know me.
Yes, honey. I said, look at Charles clocking in for his wife. Look at that. Yeah, but I enjoy that. I said, look at he knowing how to play the game too, honey. He said,
I
I'm gonna
love
show
it.
up. Oh, when Shamea was talking with Gerald, is that his name, Gerald?
Yes.
Her husband. And about the trip. And I said, boy, you can tell he just don't want to be on this show. He don't care.
No, he don't.
I'm just doing it because my wife want me to do it, but I don't care at all. And I seen people in comments saying, oh, you can tell he doesn't like her. I don't believe that. I just believe that he just don't want to be on the show. And if I was her, I would not have him film no more. Because he just gave you that real dumb look like, you know, what are we talking about? Yeah. But the surrogate ready.
Y'all know how I feel about that, but good luck to her.
We'll get that man child.
I don't know. I don't know what's the point if you want to jet set all over the world. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
But it's not like it's.
He wants a baby boy. He wants that's part of his African belief.
And that's now I did think about that. I don't know that I like the way they discuss this thing like it's just this arrangement or something. Like, yeah, it's hard for me to get on board with this. But
they brought up the old the girl that they interviewed last year, the surrogate. I'm like, ain't no way in hell I want my baby and that lady. She didn't care enough to get herself together to come on TV. I don't know what kind of squalor my baby gonna be in.
That's true. That's true.
What the hell? But yeah,
I agree with that.
So I think we got everybody now. So
yeah,
again, right, Drew was not there.
She's
supposed to be
not there. Maybe, well, she might have had a court date, honey. Might was sick.
She said, I think a respiratory infection. Oh boy, must have gave it to her.
Well, listen, y'all. Make sure you like this video, share it out, comment, let us know what you thought about the episode. We are a day late today, but y'all know you can always be able to catch us. We usually are Tuesdays at 9:15, 9:30. Make sure you subscribe to the channels, okay? And that's all I got, y'all.
Yeah, that's all I got. Good night.
Good night. See y'all later.
See ya.